What fetish did your ex have that did absolutely nothing for you? I once had a guy that asked me to wear my work uniform. I worked at McDonald's at the time, back when we wore clunky polyester. She liked to baby talk to my dick and blow on it while never on our whole relationship jacking me off or giving me head. IDK if that was her king, but yeah. It's not a turn on when someone starts talking to my penis and never actually does anything with it. Lol. She wanted to be woken up with sex, but it did nothing for me because she always woke up first. She wanted me to slap her during sex. I just wasn't down for it. She liked being choked too. I did on occasion, but I just didn't feel comfortable doing. One time she wanted me to hold a knife to her throat. I definitely wasn't going to do that one. Bro, my ex was wild. I remember one time she was on top. She liked being choked and hit. IDIDNT. She was on top. She blasted me with a hard backhand slap to the face when she was riding me, getting too into it. She ended up being the craziest, most manipulative, life-destroying girl ever. She ruined my life in a way. Sex was fire though when she wasn't throwing hands. She would absolutely quiver about having her eyes licked. IDIDNT know that oculolinctus was a thing until I dated her. She really wanted me to know what penetration feels like and wanted to peg me. I just didn't have the courage to lay down and get piped. Always keeps me up at night. What does it actually feel like? I mean, I put my finger up my ass but never had someone ram something into my ass. He liked the idea of fooling around in public and almost getting caught. I like being in my apartment or hotels or places that it's totally normal and acceptable to bang. The anxiety of almost getting caught was a turn-off to me. A fetish for black women. I'm a black woman, so I guess it worked for me in the beginning until I found out mans would try to flirt with every black woman he met on the internet. Public sex and gangbang. Both of these are so humiliating for me, and just the fact that he would sometimes try to convince me to have sex in a very public place or have foursomes with only men was gross and scary. Glad this is over. My ex would always painfully squeeze my nuts right after a blowjob. When I screamed, she would just look at me and say, "You're welcome." She thought she was being kinky. All it did was give me an irrational fear of getting a BJ ever again. Since I'm a teacher, they like to act like a naughty student who needed to be punished. You probably don't realize how gross and fucked that is as an actual teacher who works with teenagers daily. I hate when any of my SOs try to super-sexualize my career. My girlfriend had a schoolgirl fetish, but I was never comfortable in the dress. Humiliating me every chance she got. My ex had a mud fetish. Like, when he was younger, would go into like a bog and have sex with the mud. Where we lived, we didn't have any bogs as adults, so he made enough chocolate pudding to fill the tub. He had me lay in the tub while he poured the pudding all over me and filled the tub almost all the way up. He then got on top of me and we had sex. It wasn't bad really. The cleanup was a nightmare, but the problem was I ended up getting AUT from it, so I didn't let him do it again after that. Having lots of sex. It was with other people without my knowledge though, so there is that. Telling me mid-orgasm that she wants to fuck my best friend and that was all she wanted. And she thought about to him while having sex with me. Then she succeeded and I lost two people who were toxic in my life, and I have never been better. Just lying there like a starfish. Teenagers. He was middle-aged. My wife is into tentacle hentai. It's not really my thing, but I love her, so I put on the squid monster costume. I looked through the comments, but didn't find this already mentioned. I'm surprised. My ex and I had a horrible sex life, and at the end we slept in different rooms and didn't have intercourse for over a year before I finally moved out. Back when he tried to have sex with me, it never lasted long, and he wasn't interested in pleasing me. What did he want? He wanted me to be asleep, not move, unconscious. He encouraged me to take drugs or drink so I would go to sleep, and then he could do me or jerk it. Whatever. It's gross and weird for me. And it's not something I'm down for, sorry. There is literally no pleasure in someone raping or sleeping body. I have a suspicion he was also trying to get me pregnant, but I don't know if that was a fetish or him trying to trap me into a dying relationship. Public sex. I'm very open-minded, but I don't agree with possibly involving non-consenting parties in your sex life. I indulged him a couple of times when there was absolutely no chance of getting caught, but it did nothing for me. He also chucked a hissy fit when I didn't want to go to a sex club. When he finally wore me down, he ended up chickening out. So glad that's over. My ex had a fetish for calling me mommy, but it made me super uncomfortable and was a factor in our breakup. Wanting me to pretend I wasn't enjoying myself so he could be the one to teach me to enjoy sex. Ick. She wanted me to puke on her. Hard pass. She had a fetish for blood. No joke. She gets turned on at the sight of blood. One time I badly scraped my knee. Told her about it and she asked me to send a pic. The next reply, she said she was soaking wet. Good thing I broke up with her before we could have sex. I don't want to excreting both blood and semen at the same time.